Hello and welcome to my channel, Hoops Talk and Debate. We'll be doing a first round mock draft today. I'll be using the current standings as they are. The Warriors have the first pick, Cavs have the second, T-Wolves have the third, so on and so forth. So let's get right into it. With the first pick in the NBA draft, I have the Golden State Warriors selecting Anthony Edwards. I could have gone with James Wiseman or even LaMelo Ball, but something's just telling me the Warriors are going to draft Anthony Edwards, whether that be to develop him on the bench and then eventually move into the starting lineup if Clay isn't back to his original form, or slay Clyde to the three. Or potentially this can be used in a trade package. I don't know if it's for Giannis. I don't know if it's for Ben Simmons. But, it's a possibilities. I just think Anthony Edwards fits of what they're trying to do. I'm not saying Wiseman is a bad player or LaMelo, but I just think Anthony Edwards might be the top prospect in this draft. With the second pick in the NBA draft, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting James Wiseman. Ideally, if the Cavs won the lottery and they had the first pick, I would have them going with Anthony Edwards. I'm not a big fan of their guards right now. Don't know if they're really starting caliber guards on a really good team. So I think Andre Drummond opts in due to the salary cap probably going down a lot. And he's going to be a free agent the year after. So why not get one of the top prospects in James Wiseman? I think James Wiseman has a really high ceiling. I have questions about the culture in Cleveland. So I don't know how the development's going to go. I think James Wiseman could be a very, very good player. 7'1", very agile type of center. You don't get a lot of those. Didn't really get to see a lot of him at Memphis due to the whole scandal or whatever. But I like him. I think he can fit in Cleveland. Has a chance to show off what he can do. With the third pick in the NBA draft, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves going with Onyeka Okongwu. So I've seen a lot of mock drafts have LaMelo go here, and I just don't see the fit. D'Lo and LaMelo, I don't think that's a efficient backcourt and not the best defensive one. I also do like Malik Beasley a lot. I think they should try to bring him back if they can at a reasonable price. He showed a lot towards the end of the season. But the Onyeka pick. Onyeka reminds me a lot of Bam. Some Wendell Carter Jr. Onyeka has amazing defense and Cat is horrible. So you could experiment with sliding Cat to the 4 and Onyeka plays your center. I think Onyeka needs to learn how to space the floor a bit. I've seen his jumper in the mid-range. It's a nice jumper. I think he could eventually develop a respectable 3. And with the fourth pick in the NBA draft, I have the Atlanta Hawks going Deni Avdija. The Hawks have the most to lose in this draft. They have Trae Young, John Collins, now Clint Capella. They were a very disappointing team this last season. Trae Young was amazing, John Collins was amazing, but as a whole, the team's just a giant question mark. And Deni Avdija is also a question mark. I know they need defense, but I just don't feel comfortable drafting Isaac Okoro that high. Also don't think they need another point guard, so I pass on LaMelo and Killian. If they were to win the lottery, but they're 2 or 3 and Edwards is gone, I don't know if they would draft another big man. They just have a hole at the forward spot. So I went Deni. I think Deni has a chance to be a very solid prospect. He's not going to be Luka Doncic, so get that out of your mind. He can be just a very solid guy, a little point forward-ish. He's a very good complementary player, I'll say that. Maybe it's a little high, but I think the Hawks need, I'm not going to say guaranteed, there's no guarantees in the draft, but they just need someone who has a certain skill set, some experience, some confidence. I think Deni has a lot of confidence. He has a little swag to his game. So I think it'll be a solid pick for the Hawks. With the fifth pick in the NBA draft, I have the Detroit Pistons selecting Killian Hayes. Now, a little bold thing from me. I have Killian Hayes as my number 1 point guard. Yes, I do have him over LaMelo Ball. I think it's more to Killian being an amazing prospect to me downgrading LaMelo. I just see D'Lo 2.0 with Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is a big point guard, swagger. He's showing sidestep, step backs in the German league. He's just, to me, just a solid prospect and doesn't get enough recognition, in my opinion. And with Detroit, it came down to LaMelo and Killian. And I think whoever goes there, one of the two, is going to have to sit behind Derrick Rose if Derrick Rose is not traded. I think Killian could learn a lot coming off the bench for Detroit. Detroit's not winning anything right now. They have no pressure. I like Christian Wood, Luke Kennard, even though if I remember correctly, there were some trade rumors about Luke Kennard around the trade deadline. But I think Killian Hayes has a lot to offer, and I think this is a great pick for the Pistons as they try to rebuild their franchise. With the sixth pick in the NBA draft, I have the New York Knicks selecting LaMelo Ball. So my slide of Melo has ended. I am not a Knicks fan, but I do think LaMelo and Knicks are a match made in heaven. Melo is a big time player, he's been in the spotlight since he was a little kid. New York, they've been asking for a savior. Don't know if LaMelo's a savior, but I actually do like the fit with New York. I think RJ is going to need to be a ball dominant player to be effective. LaMelo probably is the best passer in the draft. Big guard, 6'7". I do have my worries with LaMelo. Highlights show that he makes crazy threes, but he's not really efficient at it. Not the greatest defender. He has potential, though. I think that's what New York needs, someone with a lot of potential. I do like the RJ Barrett pick. I know a lot of people bash it, but he's had stints where he's like, okay, that's the number 3 pick right there, And LaMelo at 6, he's gonna have a lot of pressure on him. Probably not as much pressure as his brother had, Lonzo. I think LaMelo has a chance to be better than Lonzo. So I'm wishing for the best if he goes to New York. I think this is probably one of the best fits in my mock draft. It just makes too much sense. With the 7th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Chicago Bulls going Isaac Okoro. The Bulls are stuck in some weird type of limbo right now. It's not the best place to be right now. A lot of turmoil going on between the coach and Zach LaVine. Larry Marketing taking a slide back. They did get a new GM with the Nuggets. Nuggets have been successful. I do like their culture there, so hopefully that new GM can turn it around. And with the Bulls, I was kind of weighing between Isaac Okoro and Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese could fit there really well, but I don't think Otto Porter's the long-term small forward there. Chandler Hutchison has shown signs sometimes of being a very good basketball player, but not consistently enough. They need defense. With Isaac Okoro, I actually see a little bit of Jaylen Brownish. Poor man's Jaylen, because Jaylen has developed into an amazing player. But I do like his jumper, even though he didn't shoot that well in college. He has a decent-looking jumper, shot decent from the free throw line, so I think there's some potential there. If he can become a 3D player for that Bulls team, this will be a great pick for them. And I just like his tenacity on defense, that aggression. He's a bulldog. I love that from him. And I like this pick for the Bulls. With the 8th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Tyrese Halliburton. I actually really like this pick. I don't think I've seen it in any mock drafts, at least not a lot. Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham's an interesting backcourt, to say the least. Don't think that really works out long term. Terry Rozier's a little bit of a shot chucker. Devontae Graham's very similar. Great 3-point shooter, but he's not efficient. Also, when the first thing I think of them is offense and not defense, so they could use a defensive guard. So I really like Tyrese Halliburton. You can use him with Terry or with Devontae on the court at the same time, even in some cases all 3. Don't really recommend that, but in some circumstances it can probably work. Tyrese is just a solid player, good defender, great passer. My main concern with him is his jump shot. That's probably one of the ugliest jump shots in this draft, so need to work on that. But I think Charlotte, it's a small market. It's a good place for him to develop, not a place where he needs to go right now, be at this top game, develop his game, and just work hard there. So, like that pick for the Hornets. With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Washington Wizards selecting Devin Vassell. Wizards, they can go in so many directions. They have a lot of solid players. I like Rui Hachimura. I really liked him in last year's draft. Bradley Beal's been going insane. Zero idea how John Wall is going to be when he comes back. Could have very easily gone point guard here, but I think they need a wing, a solid defender too. Devin Vassell's that. It could develop into 3D, maybe even a little bit more than 3D if he gets a little creative with his shot creating. He's a very solid prospect. I've actually never seen him slated to the Wizards before, so I think that's an interesting fit there. And Wizards, another team that just needs solid players. Because right now, offense is amazing, but defense is horrendous. They have a lot of free agents. Not a lot of good young players. So, yeah, Devin Vassell. With the 10th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Obi Toppin. I'm actually extremely high on Obi Toppin. I just didn't see how he fitted with the 9 previous teams. Um, Obi's offense is for real. Athletic freak. Defense is bad, but I've always been a believer that you can do defense no matter how big you are, unless you're Isaiah Thomas. But big, skinny, you just got to put effort, be a good team defender. That's all I ask from you. Obi would fit very well with Devin Booker on the pick and roll. Spread the floor a bit, hopefully, with DeAndre Ayton. Suns, in my opinion, it's like, oh, Suns are almost there. But I think they just need like a partner with Devin Booker. I don't know if it's DeAndre Ayton right now. He's been amazing, but, Devin Booker needs a partner right now. I would have gone point guard if there was a better point guard on the board. I don't feel comfortable with my next slated point guard. But Obi Toppin, big play potential right there. And if it works out for the Suns, could be an interesting playoff team. With the 11th pick in the NBA draft, I have the San Antonio Spurs going Aaron Nesmith. I think the Spurs should just embrace the rebuild. Sorry, Spurs fans. I know you guys have been making playoffs for I forget how many years straight, but very long time. But need to find a way to get rid of LaMarcus. Need to get rid of DeMar, and just embrace the rebuild. And I think we can get started with Aaron Nesmith. I just see him so much as a Spurs player, grade 3-and-D. He got hurt in college, so we didn't get to see him play for the entire season. But if I remember correctly, averaging around 23, shot 50% from the field and like 53% from 3. Just an amazing shooter. Not really the most creative player. I think he just slots as a 3-and-D player, but a solid player nonetheless, and can just fit so well into Greg Popovich's system there in San Antonio. With the 12th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting Kira Lewis Jr. I'm a big Kira Lewis Jr. fan. Think he has a lot of potential. In Sacramento, man, they had a great season last year, and this year they slid back. There's been some turmoil with Buddy Hield and Bogdan Bogdanovic. They need to figure that out. But I think they need some playmakers off the bench, and I think Kira Lewis can be that and maybe more. Really, really like Kira Lewis Jr.'s game. Smooth player. Shown a lot in college. I'm just a big fan of his. And I think in Sacramento, he'll be loved by the fans. He just got so much swag. And I think he can learn a lot from De'Aaron Fox. They have similar builds, so De'Aaron can teach him some things and how to use his body, how to get to the rack, how to create space for himself. So that'll be a great fit. With the 13th pick in the NBA draft, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Saddiq Bey. I'm also a big Saddiq Bey fan. I think his athleticism gets questioned a lot. I think he has more athleticism than most people think. Love his three-point shooting. Love his defense. I think the Pelicans have their nucleus right now. They just need better young players coming off the bench. Nikhil hasn't shown a lot. Jackson Hayes has had his stints, but also hasn't shown a lot. I think they could use more spacing also on the Pelicans to surround Zion at times, and I think Saddiq Bey not only has that combination of playing now and potential, but I think he just can be a solid player overall. Just a great fit with the Pelicans. With the 14th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Portland Trailblazers going with Tyrese Maxey. Trailblazers took a massive step back after making the Western Conference Finals. Currently, they are outside of the playoffs. I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be off-the-bench scorer. Similar to what Colin Sexton does right now, can score in bunches. I also see Tyrese Maxey has some intensity on defense, which is good. You always want that from a young, undersized two-guard. I think he also puts pressure on Gary Trent and Anthony Simons. They showed promise, but they're not producing at the level to make playoffs that Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum need right now. If there was a wing here, if Saddiq Bey was still here, I would take him in a heartbeat. They need wing help. I don't think Trevor Ariza is really the answer for that. Tyrese Maxey, I think he'll fit really well. The Trailblazers can learn a lot from CJ McCollum, who's also an undersized two-guard. So, for whatever reason, Trailblazers move off CJ. I can see Tyrese sliding into the two-guard to play alongside Damon. With the 15th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Orlando Magic selecting R.J. Hampton. I think the Magic are a team obsessed with potential. They took Aaron Gordon, who was filled with potential, Jonathan Isaac, filled with potential, Mo Bamba, Markel Fultz. And I think R.J. Hampton's filled with potential. He didn't really impress overseas, but he showed signs of being an elite shot creator. Very smooth, drives in a straight line, which is amazing. Skinny, I think he can be at his ceiling, a great scorer off the bench, or like a third scorer, maybe even a second. No, I'm not gonna say second scorer on a great team, but he has a lot of potential, and I think a lot of the teams might overlook his production and just see the potential they showed, because coming into the draft in the summer, like a year ago, he was viewed as maybe even a top 5 pick. He just oozes potential to me. And I think a Magic, one of the teams that can take a risk. They're a mediocre team. They also need star. Nikola Vucevic is not going to be the guy to lead you to the promised land. They need some home runs. They might have a few misses, but I mean, Mo Bamba, I don't know. Aaron Gordon's a meh player to me. Jonathan Isaac has a lot of potential to me. He's probably my favorite player on the Magic. So RJ Hampton, hopefully they play him off the bench, get some play time. If not, send him to the G League. You have to let him play. Let him figure it out. With the 16th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves selecting Patrick Williams. Early in the draft, I have been going Onyeka Okongwu. I think he has a high floor, so I'm going to go with a little bit of a risk in Patrick Williams. I think Patrick Williams has great 3-and-D potential. He's a big, bulky guy from Florida State. They could use more defense, and I think Patrick Williams offers that. He can slide in on the 3. He can be Robert Covington-ish. Maybe. I'm going to say that. I don't think he's going to become Robert Covington. I think Robert Covington is just an elite defender. But Patrick Williams, a big, bulky guy. Timberwolves just need defense if they want to be taken seriously in the Western Conference. That team doesn't have defense right now, and I have them going with 2 defensive studs in the first round. With the 17th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Jaden McDaniels. I think most Celtic fans would want someone who's more ready to play now, but I think Jaden McDaniels is 17. Don't let him pass you up. Jaden McDaniels did have his struggles at Washington, but his potential is can't let potential slide that far down the board. I mean, he has potential to be maybe a mix of Brandon Ingram, Jonathan Isaac. Don't quote me on that. Don't think he becomes any of those players, but he has a great offensive game. I think in Boston, where they value so much defense, he can learn, at least become a team defender. 6'10", has a great handle. I mean, how can you not compare him to Ingram or Jonathan Isaac? I mean, the guy has potential. If you get him in a good system like Boston, it might take him a year or two, but if you can develop him into what he has potential to be, you got a massive steal in your hands. They need another wing off the bench. He can be that. If Gordon Hayward leaves in, 2 years, he can become your 4. And then if he's really good, that Boston team is extremely scary. So if he's there, I think the Celtics have to consider Jaden McDaniels. With the 18th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Dallas Mavericks selecting Jalen Smith. I'm a big Jalen Smith fan. He's a 3-and-D big, great shot blocker. He can hit the 3. He showed it at Maryland. I think the Mavericks also is another team that just needs more solid players so they can see Luka and Kristaps grow as players and eventually have solid rotation guys around them when they're deep in the playoffs. I think Jalen Smith has great potential. Almost went Jalen Smith to the Celtics at 17. I just think Jalen Smith is going to be an NBA player for a very long time. At 19, I have the Milwaukee Bucks selecting Josh Green. I think Josh Green's going to be an amazing fit with Milwaukee. Not sold on Wesley Matthews. I think Dante can either be your 6-man. He can be a starter too. And I think Josh Smith could develop into a 3-D player. He was at a crowded Arizona with Nico Mannion and Zeke Najee. Josh Green, in my opinion, has the most potential out of those 3. Milwaukee could potentially get a steal here. And they just need more guys who can defend. So you got Jason Tatum's, got your Kyries in the Eastern Conference. So you need a guard, big guard, and that's what Josh Green is. With the 20th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Brooklyn Nets selecting Cole Anthony. A lot of people are high in Cole Anthony, and I am not one of those. I was not impressed with what he showed at UNC. People keep on telling me, you gotta watch the tape, gotta watch the tape. You'll see it. He's gonna be a superstar. He's just gonna be a star. Don't see it. With Brooklyn, I think he has a chance to learn behind Kyrie. He can be a bench scorer for them. Don't really know if Cole Anthony's a point guard in today's NBA. Don't really see a great playmaker out of him. If he becomes a two guard, yes, he can score the ball, but then comes the defense. Just too many questions around Cole Anthony. Not the biggest fan. With Brooklyn, I think they have to take Cole Anthony. He has the most potential left on the board. Don't really have that much to say about Cole Anthony. I'm just not a big fan. Hopefully, maybe he can change my mind come draft day. I'll continue watching him. But right now, I think he's towards the bottom of my board. With the 21st pick in the NBA draft, I have the Denver Nuggets selecting Precious Achiuwa. I think Precious could replace Jeremy Grant if he leaves. I think they're very similar players. Precious, I think he can develop a jump shot in the NBA. He needs to go to a place where they're going to develop him, and I think Denver's a great place, probably one of the top teams at developing young talent. I mean, it's evident in Michael Porter Jr. If they can develop him, he can be one of their experiments. I know they have a current experiment in Bol Bol. I think Precious Achiuwa just fits in so well with the Denver Nuggets. Whether eventually he's starting next to Nikola, if he's coming off the bench. This is one of my favorite fits in my draft. With the 22nd pick in the NBA draft, I have the Philadelphia 76ers take Tyrell Terry. 76ers just need shooting. Shooting. Tyrell Terry is probably one of the best, if not the best shooter in this draft. Hate the Trae Young comparisons. Not the playmaker, not the shot creator, but Tyrell Terry can for sure shoot it deep. 76ers ideally want a more ready prospect. Don't really see that with the rest of my board that has the shooting they need. Tyrell Terry could be a hit or miss prospect, but I think that's what Philly needs. Philly did not have a good year. I don't know if that's going to result in a trade. That's a team that has a lot of question marks around them right now. Tyrell Terry's a young prospect. I think Philly could develop him. Hopefully he gets playing time. I think that's what young players need to develop. If you're going to develop them, they need playing time. Whether that be in the G League or in the NBA, they just need to play. You need to get them in a game scenario. They can't be doing drills all day. So, yeah, Tyrell Terry. With the 23rd pick in the NBA draft, I have the Miami Heat selecting Tre Jones. Gordon Dragic is going to be free agent. Don't know if he comes back or not. So why not take a development point guard and Tre Jones? I think Tre Jones has the potential to run an offense. I don't know if Kendrick Nunn is a point guard or even a starting point guard. Do like him, though. Tre Jones, same things. Don't know if he's a starting point guard. But he has the potential to run an offense. And I think outside of Bam and Jimmy Butler, not really sure they have any playmakers like that. And I think Miami Heat can get a really good one in Tre Jones. With the 24th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Utah Jazz selecting Jahmi'us Ramsey. Don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's a shooting guard. They can use more 3D players. Any team can use more 3D players. Don't buy into the trade rumors for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Think they fix it at the very least. They run one more year with it. Just more playmakers. Jordan Clarkson's a free agent too, so if Jordan Clarkson leaves, Ramsey can slide right into there and be the backup two guard. He is a little raw, so he does need some development, but my motto is to develop, you need to play. That's all I gotta say. With the 25th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder selecting Jordan Nwora. Jordan Nwora actually impresses me a lot. Fan of his game. A lot of people say he's not super athletic. I see more athleticism that most people say. With that, I think he has more potential to be a defender. He's not the best defender right now. 3-level scorer, though. I think the Thunder need more talented wings, and I think Jordan Nwora is that. With the 26th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Daniel Oturu. For the Boston Celtics, they have 3 first-round picks, and my thinking is they should draft a guy with a lot of potential. Can be a boom or bust prospect, solid prospect, and then a prospect that you can develop. Hopefully they work out. And with Daniel Oturu, I think he's a very solid prospect. lot of people aren't high on him. Don't know why. I know he has a very old style of playing, but he's shown the ability to stretch the floor. He's a big, bulky center. I think he has a lot of potential. It reminds me a lot of Bruno Fernando in Atlanta right now. I think the Celtics are more content at the center position that the rest of the league thinks. Daniel Tice has been amazing for them. They're really high on Robert Williams, but I think Enes Kanter opts out, and they need to have another center in there because Daniel Tice has had some injury stuff. Robert Williams had some big injuries this season. I think they need a third center in there, and he would actually provide some competition for Robert Williams next season so he gets more playing time. With the 27th pick in the NBA draft, I have the New York Knicks selecting Isaiah Stewart. With their 6th pick, I have them taking LaMelo Ball. The people want LaMelo Ball, but I think they should not sleep on Isaiah Stewart if Isaiah Stewart falls to them. Isaiah Stewart's a very solid center. He needs to stretch the floor a little bit. He's not going to get the ball in the post like he does in Washington, just not the NBA game. But big, bruising center. He's a little undersized, though, 6'9". But I think they can use a center like that behind Mitchell Robinson. Not really sure if any Knicks fans out there can tell me. I don't even think Mitchell Robinson is starting. I'm a big fan of Mitchell Robinson. Don't know why they're not starting him. But yeah, that combo, Isaiah Stewart and Mitchell Robinson, it's a good young tandem right there. I don't know if you can play them at the same time, but it's a good rotation of bigs that New York needs instead of signing these one-year deals with washed-out players. With the 28th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Toronto Raptors selecting Theo Maledon. Maledon, to me, is just the player right now. He doesn't do anything particularly well, and I think as a rookie, you need something. You need a specialty if you want to get on the floor. And with Toronto right now, they won the championship last year, the second seed in the East, but I don't think they're winning it right now. I don't think they're real contenders. Great team, but I don't want to call it a rebuild, but they should go with the youth movement. Go along with Pascal Siakam, move on from Kyle Lowry. Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka are free agents. They should try to re-sign Terrence Davis. Really liked what he showed. And with this late pick, just take a developmental piece. How someone you can develop. I think Maledon with the right workings, right coaches can make him into a very, very, very good point guard. NBA teams, they need solid players. Every championship team has that one consistent player. And I think Theo, if he can go to the right place, he can become that. So I know it's kind of late for someone I'm hyping up so much, but just right now at this very moment, he is just as raw as they come. With the 29th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Los Angeles Lakers selecting Cassius Winston. The Lakers need a secondary playmaker, another shooter, and I think that's what Cassius Winston is. 4-year player at Michigan State, very solid this past year. Seen a lot of people have him in the middle of the second round. I think that's just way too late for someone as well-rounded as he is. He is a bit undersized, but I don't think the Lakers are asking for superstars right now. They need solid role players for when they make a run to the finals. He can be a playmaker for when LeBron comes out. So I think Cassius Winston and Lakers, very, 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 very good match. With the 30th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Nico Mannion. Yes, he looks like the perfect fit because he's a redhead. He can look like a leprechaun. But no, Nico Mannion, point guard. Celtics are very shaky at point guard. Nico Mannion was shaky at Arizona State. But I don't think he's a finished prospect. A lot of people think, he's finished, that's what he's going to be. And if teams have that thinking, he's going to slide really far down in the draft for people who have higher potential. But I just think he's raw. I think he needs to get NBA training. He needs to hit an NBA weight room. He needs to get his athleticism up. But I think that'll come to him because in high school, you saw signs of that. And at 30th pick, Celtics aren't asking for a superstar as well. Just get a piece. You need to get pieces for your bench. You have one of the worst benches in the league. Nico Mannion's probably one of the last prospects that has the potential to be a great piece for a championship team. So that is the end of my NBA mock draft. I will be coming out with more because the lottery's bound to change up some picks. Rumors are going to come out. I like to be more accurate than what I think teams should be. They're the actual NBA teams. That's their job. So I'm going to try to make mine as accurate to copy what they're going to do. But yeah, don't only do draft stuff, even though I do plan on doing more in-depth prospect scouting, some player comparisons, fits on teams, what they're going to be in the NBA. I'm going to do young NBA prospects in the league already, some of my favorite players, free agency predictions, free agency reaction, the NBA draft reaction, just everything NBA. Big NBA fan. Thank you if you sat through the whole video. This is my first video on YouTube ever. It's going to be a little shaky, I know that. But I appreciate it. If you like this channel, if you want to see more, I'm going to try to upload as much as I can. I'm in quarantine, so I have nothing else I'm doing right now. Just finished school. So please subscribe if you enjoyed, like the video, and see you guys next time. This is Hoops Talk and Debate.